Hey everybody, it's Eric. If you've sprayed clear coat in your garage before, you've probably had the experiences of runs and sags. Myself, I've been using the PPG EC530 forever, and pretty much every time I use it I get a run. I've tried cold temperatures, hot temperatures, you name it, always get runs. The main problem that I've been running into lately is I can get the first application to go on nice, 2-3 coats, whatever. Looks good. I come back hours and hours later and it's run and sag and all kinds of stuff going on. So I'm going to try an experiment today using accelerator, which I've never used before. We're going to try this Camaro trunk lid here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go no accelerator over here, 1%, 2%. The clear coat calls for up to 2%, so we'll try the 3 different stages there and see how it does. We're painting in horrible conditions here. So worst case scenario, basically, it's 58 degrees, it's raining outside, so it's near 100% humidity in here. I'm going to use the low temperature reducer, the ECR65 from PPG. The one thing I'm concerned about using accelerator is can you end up with dry patches, basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the first coat only up halfway across the panel-ish, right? And then we're going to let that sit for 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back and do the bottom half. And then we'll see in the middle there if we get any kind of dry spray line between the two. In addition, we're going to get as many experiments out of this panel as we can. The top panel, I'm going to try and shoot for a medium wet coat, 75% overlap, something like that. The bottom half, I'm going to go for a wet coat. And again, so we'll have all these different places on this panel here that we can look at and see, does the accelerator make any difference? Is it too much? Is it not enough? Etc. We're going to give that a shot. So we're going to mix up some clear first. All right, we're going to try and get the camera down nice and low so you can see the reflections of the lights and see how the clear is going on.
Cycles of insanity. Cycles of insanity.
Alright, it's been about 2 hours since we painted here. We'll take a look and see. I didn't mention it before, but I put these holes in here because clear coat has a tendency to want to run around holes there, like you see right there. A couple little runs right there. So this is the medium wet coat across the top here. Anything on that one? That one looks okay. This one looks fine. Bottom, there's a run, real slight right there. It's hard to see these, I know. There you go. Right. And this corner over here was doing some weird stuff when I painted it, but it doesn't look too bad now. A little bit of a run on that one. See the run here. There's the camera tripod legs there, they're good for that. A lot of runs right here. Here and here. So the important thing to note is to go back and look at the various times, like right after I finished spraying, and these were not very obvious then. So within a couple of hours, those have started to come down. We got some runs coming across the bottom here. Not anything there, not anything here, interestingly, all the way down there. So one test I want to do here is after 2 hours, what's the touch test on here? So this is the 2%. That's dry. Well, 1%. Stop it. Stop it. 1% still a little sticky. And this guy, completely sticky. So that's not dry at all. 2 hours after we sprayed it. That's not dry. And this guy, you can see it, sorry for the glare there. You can see it left a slight little fingerprint there. Right there, you can see that. This guy, nothing. That is dry. So that's cool, so that definitely works. I'm going to go ahead and pull the tape off here. So the bottom of the tape, it's a little sticky, but not too sticky. This might be revealing too, I don't know, we'll see. This one I expect to be it's pretty dry at the bottom. Ugh. I'll clean my hands off, that's all nasty. So the other thing to look at here is the fluid buildup on the edge. This is between the 0% and 2% panel, or 1% panel rather. So that build up there compared to over here. much slighter. All the way down at the bottom there. Yeah. Alright, so the accelerator definitely works in terms of drying. What about down here? Yep, let's try down here too. This one. It's still a little sticky down there. I know that's wet. Don't even touch that. Alright, and then the other thing was, have the containers dried up at all? This is the 2% here. Looks a little viscous compared to the 0 here. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that's definitely thicker. The other thing here on the top of the can, you can see where it's spilled. That's dry now. That was really wet. Oh, that's still wet right there. This 1% had a bunch on it. It's all dry. Yep. Okay. All right, so we'll come back in the morning and take a look and see if things have moved any more or if this thing is locked in place now. The other thing to look at here is the difference in texture between where I did the medium wet coat up here all the way across and the wet coat. The wet coat is clearly smoother. Look at the texture there. Go up. Got a lot more texture in it. I wouldn't say a lot, some. This at the moment looks a little duller. That might just be my eyes. But we'll check that in the morning too. From this side, see if it looks any different. Pretty nice though. And this is the reason I hung this thing up this way too, your worst case scenario for runs and sags and stuff. So, all right, we'll check it out in the morning. All right, I decided to come out a couple hours later and check on it. You know, this is just classic, right? When you try to run the experiment, everything goes perfectly. All right, so it doesn't look like it's changed much in the last couple of hours. Not the same as it was. I will check to see if the panel's dried up anymore. And I can see a sag right through there, if you can see that. And this, of course, the 0% one is money for the most part. Now, I would not normally spray it this heavy, so that's kind of to be expected. Up here, that's good. That guy's got a little run now. I don't know when that appeared. Looks okay. This one, nothing. I don't see anything new over here. Well, let's check it. We already know this guy's dry. This guy's dry now. This guy's still sticky. See that? That's 4 hours after painting. It's still wet. Let's go check these guys. Change over here. There you go. So the 2%, it's not dry. You see it's the 1 is still in liquid form. The 0 should still be in liquid form. Interesting. So that guy's just this top of it looks like it's dry. Interesting. All right, we'll come back, check it in the morning. There's one thing you can see here. I don't know if this is new or not. This big run along the bottom here. See that? I didn't get down low enough to see that before, I don't think. This is all run across the bottom there. This one, not, oh, there's all nasty right there. You can see that run. Sorry with the light back there. But the 2% panel, pretty clean. And that one spot there, it's got a sag run kind of thing right there, but panel, look, man, it smoothed out nice. That's beautiful. Like no texture hardly at all. It's just so interesting to see this clear coat dry. Like usually, you know, when I paint, I can come out here, you know, the same night, come and look at it, and it's just wet, you know, until I get up the next morning. and to see it actually dry at night. That's pretty cool. And this guy is still wet. All right, here we are the next morning. Didn't turn out as bad as I thought. It was interesting. Usually I have much more trouble with this stuff, but I don't know if you can see this right through here. I'm trying to zoom in on that. You can see it's kind of starting to want to sag right through here. See how it's not even? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So if you come up here and look at this, this is pretty smooth, right? This is black, so it's hard to see, but this area here, that whole area right there is kind of screwed up. Not as bad as I've seen on some of my other panels. This has been worse, but you can definitely see, I hope you can see all this stuff going on here. I don't know that these runs got any worse. Maybe not. I'll try and see if I can do a side-by-side comparison of the different times. So that's the 0%. 1% doesn't look dramatically different. And so all of these have runs. This one here run a little bit. Not as bad as the other two. Hardly anything on this one. This is on the wet coat. On the medium wet coat's nothing here. So that was okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get the... I don't know, I have best tried to tilt this thing up to make this easier, but I'm not sure it's helping. And then along the bottom here, hopefully you can see a huge sag or run across the bottom of this. This guy here, we got the drips across the bottom here, but the rest of it's pretty smooth except for right here. So that got a pretty good, there's a big sag right here. You can see that. And this one, the bottom's totally clean. That's a scratch or something right there. So, ooh, I'll let this down now. We'll get a better shot of the medium wet coat side here. Nothing there, a little bit right there. Nothing. No, that's scratch right there. All right. So yeah, so the experiment worked. This definitely moved more than it should have. Said I didn't see that sag in it last night, and it's not too dramatic, but this is 3 coats of clear. Since I'm doing candy type stuff, I need at least 4, so it would have been even worse than this had I done 1 more coat. The 1% didn't seem to have made a huge difference, slightly, but the 2% really worked well. I don't see any difference in terms of sheen or anything. We did not end up with any dry spray in the middle here. It seemed like for the first hour or so, didn't really make a difference, and then this guy started to kick. If you look at the containers, as we said last night, this guy was done. He's solid now. The 1% is also done, but the 0% is still liquid. So I don't know how well this applies to all the different clear coats you guys use, guys and gals. This EC530, this is not even the slowest clear coat they have. They have a 550, which is even slower. You can see here where this is 10:45 the next day. You know, we're well past 12 hours when this stuff was sprayed, and it's still hasn't even set up. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's a good experiment. So I don't know a lot about the accelerators. I think these things are kind of universal, that they can be used in different clear coats and whatever. I chose the PPG one here just because I use PPG for everything. But I guess it can be can be used quite a bit for a lot of different things. It works in not just clear coat, but any urethane, so sealer, primer, whatever. Maybe I should use this in my epoxy because I get a lot of runs in my epoxy too. Anyway, not for waterborne base coat though, which is what I use. So anyway, that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you found it useful.